And hello and welcome everyone to the comic multiverse where the worlds of nerd meet. It is Sunday night, the regular night that we record this. I am, of course, Joel of the Cape Joel channel, and joining me, my regular partner in comic book podcasting crime, it's Matt, everyone.
Hello, everyone. It's kind of weird for me because I got a new screen, so my camera's sitting on top of it, and the screen sits higher than how I sit. So I have to look up a little bit more.
Oh, it's one of those nights. I got a new camera finally. I finally got that happening, but I'm still trying to figure out how to work the tripod, how to reconfigure where I shoot and everything, because I want to reshoot those little video inserts that I do in my reviews. I want to try and move that around, maybe do something new with it. So that's been a whole journey in and of itself.
Yeah, it sounds like a lot of fun.
It is. So, if my video quality suddenly starts to not suck out of the blue, you'll know why.
Mm-hmm.
See, I can make this face because we're on video for this show.
Yeah, and I can see you, and it looks clear, and it's not out of focus.
I know, isn't that nice? Isn't that good? So, how was your week, Matt?
Pretty good. It was pretty chill. We've still been going through like a heat wave here, so I've been trying not to go outside and die. So yeah,
that's always nice. This week for comics wasn't as crushing as it's been, but I still didn't get around to my two side projects that I want to get around to because I still had so many videos to get through.
Yeah, I still have heaps to go in terms of reviews and stuff, and next week's even bigger as well.
I have a required reading I want to do on Black Panther, and I want to do the story so far on Black Bolt, and I want to do something with all this hot sauce that I bought, but I just can't seem to find the time for it. It's days like this, I complain and be like, man, I need an assistant. I need an unpaid intern.
Yeah, I think we both do.
I need a life coach. I need someone to kick my ass and get me to work on this stuff. But I got a haircut, though.
Oh,
so much
good.
to the point you wouldn't be able to tell that I got too much of one, but I did.
No, I wouldn't be able to tell anyway.
Very subtle, but they made me pay full price for this subtle haircut. It's my own fault, really. I kind of liked the girl who was cutting my hair, so I'm like, yeah, whatever you want to do, yeah, just keep going, whatever, it's all good. Which is not a good way to get your haircut. Just,
no.
Sure, whatever, yeah, just go for it.
Yeah, she could have just shaved it all off, and it looks good, it looks good.
Which, I've gotten that done, and in fact, I probably should have, because any haircut I get, I'm just going to put under my hat, because it's wintertime, or my toque, to all you Canadians out there, just going to toque it up. So I could have just done that. I probably should have just done that, because then I wouldn't have had to get my hair cut again for another 2 months.
Yeah.
Oh well, live and learn. So we actually do have some interesting news stories to cover this week, Matt. And we also, again, as we mentioned, there are some big developments in what we were reading this week, so we'll be sure to cover that one as well.
Yep, definitely.
Which story would we like to cover first? Would you like to pick one, Matt, from the list? I never let you pick. I was just kind of reading off.
Well, I don't have the list in front of me because if I do, your video will go away. But I think
okay. Then in that case, I'll read off.
I know a story that is on the list, and I think we both want to talk about.
All right, then you go for it, Matt.
And that is the return of Superman's underwear.
The red trunks, they're coming back. It only took 1,000 issues. Well, actually, took it a little less than 1,000 issues, but they are returning. All red, everything.
Yeah, they're actually returning before this, though.
Oh, really?
Yeah, apparently their first appearance is going to be in Green Arrow 38.
Really?
Yeah.
Really? They're coming back in the Green Arrow issue.
The artist, Juan Ferreira, posted a picture from that issue of Superman in those trunks.
Oh, shit. I guess that's the timeline, then, that the events of Green Arrow happen after the events of Action Comics number 1000.
Yeah, and I think Action 1000 happens, or maybe the main story happens after Doomsday Clock. I don't know.
Because it's going to be one of those big anthology books with everyone writing a story, including Brian Michael Bendis having a story in this.
Yeah, that'll be his first DC story, and that comes up very soon in April.
It does. It comes out very soon. People are already getting super excited about that. In fact, I may have a special video coming up over on another channel relating to this story. So, just keep that one, keep you in suspense for that. I think we can all agree, and I know Matt and I have been pushing this forever. It's about damn time the Trunks come back.
Yeah, I really like them, and I like the current costume he has now, but like the Trunks, they break up that blue, and
and they're iconic.
Yeah, and it looks right.
It just looks right. It looks proper. It's the way Superman will always be remembered in pop culture with the Trunks. You can't fight it. You already had him like that for like 75 years. There's no going back on it. You had a good run with trunkless Superman. This Superman, as we've had, is probably the best looking without trunks he's been.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah.
I mean, I asked the question. I wonder at what point in the story will he finally say, you know what? Like he's talking to John and Lois. You know what, guys? I'm gonna start wearing these on the outside now. What are you gonna do about it?
Yeah, what are you gonna do about it? It's interesting as well because we saw like that Jim Lee. I think it was a cover or something for the thing, and that might be his redesigned costume. The one thing that I hate about it, and I don't know why Jim Lee keeps doing it, he keeps like putting like cuffs on his characters. These like metal cuffs and like lines and stuff. I have no idea why he likes it.
He loves it. He's always loved it.
Yeah, and it's the one thing I hate about his art. He also has these cuffs or like lines in the costume that don't need to be there.
Lee loves cuffs in the way Liefeld loves pouches. No, more cuffs, more pouches, more cuffs. Or who's the Kingdom Hearts guy there? The guy who loves belts so much, like that guy loves belts.
Yeah.
Everywhere, belts on your head, belts on your neck, belts everywhere. All belts, all the time. But yeah, I mean, I'm super excited about the red trunks, and I think now is definitely the time for it for a number of different reasons. I think we can all agree that one of the big reasons Superman dropped the trunks in the beginning of the New 52 was because he wasn't going to have them during Man of Steel.
Yeah, I think so. I think the movies were starting to like sort of influence the comics a little bit.
Well, they wanted to do a multimedia push. Again, they wanted to be like Marvel. And it's like, well, all our shit's got to line up, right? So we got to start thinking about that in advance,
yeah.
Which would have worked and would have been good if only people accepted Man of Steel and Justice League and everything else. And I think after people voted with their wallets with Justice League, they could all agree, yeah, let's not do this anymore. Let's just let the comics be the comics.
Yeah, I think they've realized that they need to bring that back. And as it should be as well as for issue 1000, this celebration of this character, they need to bring those back.
Yeah, he had trunks for longer than he did. I of course, posed this question on Twitter to everyone else, and I want to pose it to you now on the show. If Superman gets his shorts on the outside back as of issue 1000, does that mean we have to wait till issue 1000 of Detective Comics for Batman to do the same?
Maybe. I'd like to see Batman's come back. We know he did have a costume that did have them before his current one.
He did. It would be something for like Batman to be like, oh, Clark's wearing the trunks on the outside again, huh? Well, I can't let that Kryptonian fucker outshine me, huh? Look, I'm doing it too. Batman can do it too. In fact, all you Robins, you got to start doing it again. Damian, put these on, and Damian will be like, no, fuck you. And he'll be like, okay, well, Duke will put it on because Duke is my good son. And Duke's like, I'm not even your son, man. I exist in a weird nether realm of the Bat family. Look, Duke, this is what will get you over as a sidekick. This is what will make the fans love you. Put these little short shorts on and these elf boots, and people will love you.
Instant hit.
Instant hit, instant love. That's what it would do. But yeah, I mean, because it's like the thing, every other hero does it. Every hero is drawn that way because Superman did it first, and everyone lost their trunks around the same time he lost them.
Yeah, it was like that whole, like, yeah, the start of the New 52, where they wanted to be more modern, quote unquote.
Yeah. Which, it's funny, sometimes when you try super hard to be modern, you end up being even more dated even quicker.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a reason when people look back at haircuts from the 80s and go, man, what the hell was I thinking? Oh, that was the style at the time. No trunks was the style at the time.
Yeah, now that's not. It's more. about legacy and everything nowadays.
Yeah, let's if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And I'm glad they finally learned that.
Yeah.
Speaking of Batman stuff, and I was, just to kind of dovetail and segue, Chris Priest, who has been doing I think, a great job on Justice League, and been doing a great job reinventing Deathstroke. He's going to be getting a brand new book very soon for the summer, and it's Batman versus Deathstroke, the series? What? Okay.
So it's an ongoing? What?
They're making it sound like it's an ongoing. I don't know how they could keep this going for an ongoing series.
No, I don't. It's like every week they decide to fight each other.
It's even weirder because it's like, okay, so Batman versus Deathstroke, yeah, it's a cool concept, but you've done it like 5 times in the last couple of years that I can recall. Batman and Robin fought Deathstroke and Rose in the beginning of Deathstroke, which was written by Christopher Priest. Batman and Deathstroke fought a bunch in his own book, and they fought again during the last Deathstroke run before this. What are you going to bring to this that is new and different that we haven't seen before when these two fight?
I'd love if he completely throws off. It's like, oh yeah, it's Batman and Deathstroke. I just didn't say which Batman.
Oh shit!
And it's like future Damien or something, or Terry or something.
That's actually very clear. And Priest would fuck you around like that. He would totally mess with you and be like, "Oh, I'm sorry, did I say that? I actually meant this."
Or do something where we have every issue or every couple of issues is Deathstroke fighting a different Batman. So he fights Bruce and then Dick and then Damien and then maybe Tim and then Terry.
Azrael.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a cool concept. And I definitely think Christopher Priest enjoys the idea, and he's definitely toyed with it in Deathstroke, where it's Deathstroke is a really good cracked mirror version of Batman because, he's just a human who does it all on his own despite his super serum drugs that give him all these powers. He has a very dysfunctional family of sidekicks and everything. And, he has his own butler. He has his own evil Alfred in Wintergreen.
Mm-hmm.
See, that's a fight I'm more interested in. Alfred versus Wintergreen, the battle of the geriatrics. Who will win?
That would be pretty cool. I like to think they wouldn't fight. They just sit down, have tea, and just talk about their shitty masters. They make me do all this stuff.
I mean, that is what they would do, because Wintergreen is always the cooler head prevails guy. Yeah. And so is Alfred. It would be nice to see them sit and talk it out and be like, oh, your adopted son's a bit of a dick too, huh? Yeah, mine as well. Oh, but we're both so British and stiff upper lip. Oh, I'm sure they'll work it out. That would be fun. You know what? The more I think about it, the more I think there's actually places you could go with this series.
Yeah. Now, They obviously, because it hasn't been brought back, but is it going to be an Elseworlds? Is it going to be separate from the main universe?
They're making it sound like it's the main universe, but then again, Deathstroke is back in his old costume, and again, I'm about 2 issues behind on Deathstroke, but supposedly he's still trying to be a hero, and he's got the white and black costume and his own super team. I'm guessing this lets us know that Deathstroke goes back to being a villain.
Yeah, that's why I was asking, because he's being a superhero at the moment.
I guess that does not last.
No. That's a shame.
I know, I've been enjoying this new thing. Well, you know what I think it is? Once again, I think the movies had some pressure on this for the Batman project, whatever it might be. Supposedly, Deathstroke was supposed to be the villain in that Batman movie, so maybe they're trying to prime the pump for that if that ever happens.
Yeah.
If that ever happens.
Yeah.
There's a lot up in the air at the moment. But yeah, hey, from one grizzled badass to another grizzled badass, some other news we got this week. Charles Soule is going to be penning the Hunt for Wolverine series, the big return of the original OG Wolverine.
Makes sense. He's the one who killed him. He should be the one to bring him back.
Yeah, 4 years ago now. And I feel that so much time has passed, people forgot how good Death of Wolverine actually was.
Mm-hmm.
It very easily could have been tacky, and it could have been another cash in, oh, we're killing a character for real this time. But no, Charles Soule's actually made it a real love letter to Wolverine, killed him in a spectacular fashion, and then he actually stayed dead until right now.
Yeah, that's pretty long time. That's got to be one of the longest, character deaths like
in
barring,
recent years.
yeah, barring like the Fantastic Four, though they're not really dead. They're just in.
They're just gone.
They're just in studio limbo.
Yeah, or like Jean Grey, and even then, even when she was
Yeah.
gone, she still kind of came back.
Yeah.
Actually, it's funny. Like all the longest deaths, I think, have belonged to X-Men. For whatever reason. But yeah, I'm excited to see this come back. Have you been following the Where's Wolverine thing in your comics? Has that touched any of the books you currently read where Wolverine shows up at the end for like a second?
Yeah, it's touched some of the books. I haven't been reading Mighty Thor, but I did see like the little tag at the end of that. I thought that was pretty cool.
That was this week. It's nice. He brings Jane flowers in the hospital. I thought that was nice.
Yeah, that's pretty good. I like what they've been doing with him. They've just been teasing him every now and then.
Yeah, they're definitely building up the anticipation. I hope it's worth it. It's funny. The Jane bit made me laugh because obviously he shows up in Captain America, and that makes sense because, Cap is his war buddy and everything, and he's a big figurehead in the superhero community. Of course, he would come to him. Coming to Jane is kind of funny because he's like, oh, give these flowers to my friend Jane. I'm like, how well do you know Jane, Logan? Like, I know she's around superhero functions for years before she ever actually became a hero in her own right. But I mean, like, are you saying friends in the Christian sense? Like, we're all friends in Christ.
Was she even Thor when he died?
No.
That was like just before, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was like just before. No, she wasn't even Thor yet.
Yeah.
Unless he's just really bored now and is just going around playing Guardian Angel to everyone in need, going, hey, here's some stuff for you, and here's some stuff for you. No, I can't reveal myself yet. Because apparently this is all tied into that Infinity storyline, and he's got a stone and some other shit.
Yeah, he's carrying around like the Mind Stone or something.
How did he get that? I don't know. We'll have to read Hunt for Wolverine, and we'll have to read Infinity to find out.
We saw how he got it in Marvel Legacy. He stole it from
that's
those,
right. He ran over one of the ice giants.
Yeah, that was stealing it for Loki.
Right. They stole it, and he stole it back.
Yeah.
No givesies backsies. It's not really stealing if you steal it from the person who stole it. But yeah, I'm excited for that one. I will definitely check that one out. I'm also at the point now where I'm kind of hungry for a Wolverine story because I ditched all the X-Men books. I didn't have the time for it anymore, and I just didn't care. But now that they have the rights back, I guess I'll have to start caring again because they're clearly making them a bigger deal now than they've been, which is good.
Yeah, it's really interesting. And what they're doing with this event as well, they've obviously got tie-ins for this, but the tie-ins sound really interesting because each tie-in is a different genre. So we have a hard-boiled detective story, an action one, I think there's a romance one, and a horror one.
All the different sides that make up Wolverine, I'm about it.
Yeah, that sounds really cool.
And hey, speaking of romance and speaking of mutants, and we absolutely were, Marvel had been teasing for a little bit. They're like, oh, the wedding of the century. Two characters are finally tying the knot. And people were, awash with, with theories about, like, oh, could they finally be getting Mary Jane and Peter back together? And I keep dreaming, apparently. Oh, could they be marrying these characters? But no, it turns out the characters getting married are Kitty Pryde and Colossus. Yeah, all right. I know there's way bigger X-Men fans than you and I, Matt, who lost their shit over this one and were so hyped. And by all means, I'm not going to take that away from you.
Yeah, that's cool. They're all right characters.
Yeah, they're pretty good. Again, I've been kind of lukewarm on X-Men recently, but hopefully this helps kickstart it in a right direction. But, I'll wait till the books are eventually reshuffled because that's going to happen.
Yeah, it's going to come. It's coming soon.
It's going to be coming very soon. So I hope you enjoyed Gold and Blue because I'm sure they'll change that around for something else. I guess Red has to continue because Red is just starting.
Yeah, Red's coming out soon.
I wonder, will they change the titles again or will they just reshuffle the books?
I think that maybe they'll just change the titles.
I mean, that seems
I think it like kind of depends, especially with like Red coming out. If Red's like really popular, that one will keep going. Whereas like these other two, which have kind of been lukewarm, kind of good and bad, might be reshuffled.
I mean, it would be really easy just to change Red's name at the last second. Oh, did we say it was X-Men Red? We meant it was Jean Grey and the X-Men. Sorry. There you go. Now you got Jean Grey and the X-Men. That's your book, and that's basically what it is.
Yeah.
Uncanny X-Men can probably stay because it's Uncanny X-Men. That's already a title. But like X-Men Gold and Blue, you're like, what? Okay.
Yeah, Astonishing can stay as well.
Astonishing, yes. Oh, sorry, astonishing. What I was thinking of. There is no Uncanny X-Men right now. They'll probably turn one of those books into Uncanny X-Men though, because that was always the title.
Yeah, probably.
That's the title people always looked for. I bet if they reshuffle them again, and this is me using my Joel Stradamus crystal ball to look into the future, one book will just be called X-Men, one book will just be called Uncanny. They'll probably keep Astonishing, or they'll fold that into one of the other books. And then Red will either stay Red or become Jean Grey and the X-Men.
Yeah.
That's my pitch. And then I guess we'll probably have to have an X-Force at some point, because Deadpool and Cable need to go somewhere, and they also need to get reintegrated into the X-Men line of books, because they kind of divorced them from the X-Men. It was kind of like, you go over here and do your own thing.
Yeah, they don't really show up, and they've been showing up in that or at least Cable has in that Phoenix Resurrection event.
Yeah. Which apparently is quite good from what I understand. I haven't picked it up yet, but everyone who likes X-Men says it's great.
It is. It's really good.
That and Grand Design I might actually pick up, because those actually kind of, tickle my, my bone for X-Men that I actually do like. Someone was telling me too, apparently, Emma Frost shows up in one of the new Jean Grey Resurrection books, and they completely ignore everything that's happened to her in like the last 3 years.
I know she was a big part of the Jean Grey book recently, because she had like part of like the Jean Grey Phoenix in her or something.
Ooh. Yeah, because like someone showed me a panel, and she's just back to being the White Queen again, and it's like, hey, weren't you wearing like a terrible tribute costume to Cyclops when he died, and then you kickstarted the whole war between X-Men and humans? That didn't happen.
I'm behind an issue on Phoenix Resurrection, but it could be set in like that weird world Jean finds her in, where like people like Jamie Madrox is still alive.
Oh shit!
And like Cyclops is still alive and everything.
Damn, that does sound interesting. I should read that. I should read that, and I should read Doctor Strange, too, because he actually played a big part in Thor this week.
Oh, okay, then. He's
like a veterinarian now, because he's not Sorcerer Supreme anymore. Loki is, so he took his job, so Steven had to get a new job. And he goes from being like a surgeon oncologist to being a veterinarian. I'm like, that's actually cool, and he cut his hair. I'm like, I actually like those things. Those are things that have me interested. And hey, speaking of big change at Marvel here, perhaps one of the biggest stories that happened this week, there was a lot of talk. Dan Slott made it official that he's ending Spider-Man with issue number 100 and a new storyline involving the Red Goblin. He's already kind of moving the pieces back into place for the next writer so he can have a clean slate. And there was a lot of talk and a lot of rumoring to, where's he going to go next after he's done Spider-Man, and this week we found out.
Yeah, he's going to Iron Man.
Sounds good.
Yeah, I'm up for it.
Yeah, I'm up for this too. I mean, I think we can all agree that, the Iron Man book has been a little aimless under Bendis for like the last, 3 or 4 volumes, as is often the case with Bendis. Especially in the last little bit where it seems like he already had a foot out the door anyway while writing.
Yeah, I was talking on Twitter with people about this, which it's really strange that he kind of like gave up on the book, especially once it became like Riri, who was his creation, it became like her flagship book. So I would have thought he would have cared about it like he did Miles.
Yeah, I mean, well, I think he saw the writing on the wall, and in fact, I think one of the reasons I stopped reading the Miles Morales book, because it seems like he gave up there as well. I think he saw the writing on the wall, and with certain rumors they're talking about now where it's like, well, maybe Miles is going to stop being Spider-Man and going to be a different type of character. Maybe he got discouraged. Maybe he got like, oh, so you're not going to treat my characters good, huh? Well, then I give up then. I'm just going to half-ass it until I can go work for the competition.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, we might even see like Riri get phased out.
Which is sad, because I thought those characters had a lot of potential, despite the fact that certain people wouldn't accept them for different reasons. But hey, it is what it is. Actually, Riri actually had a great bit in Spider-Man this week.
Yeah?
Yeah, she was helping all the Avengers fight a group of villains who were working for the Tinker, and I'm like, oh, that's cool.
Cool.
I like that. That's good stuff. But yeah, Slott on Iron Man. Say what you want about Dan Slott, and many people have, myself included, especially this week, with one of the Spider-Man books he did. But you know what? The man knows new directions, and the man knows how to shake up status quos, and that's everything the Iron Man book needs at the moment.
Definitely, it definitely needs something new, and though that's something I hope is kind of a return to like Tony Stark, Iron Man.
I think it's
being here, maybe bring Rhodey back somehow.
That would be interesting. Or, just have Riri become the new Rhodey. Be like, hey, I'm back as Iron Man, but you know what? I have an opening for a black friend, and here's the War Machine. Isn't the War Machine suit cool? Don't you want to get into that suit?
It actually works, unlike your suit.
Yeah, it actually works. Yeah, well, they keep going back and forth on that. Where it's like, I built it with a box of scraps, but I also had the good material. But for story purposes, it needs to break down every so often. But yeah. Yeah, that would be fun. I'd be okay with that. It would be a way to be like, okay, so we're moving the character in the background, but she's not completely phased out.
Yeah, and I'd obviously like to see what's happening with Victor Von Doom. What he's up to.
I keep thinking, I think the writing's on the wall for that too. I think he will be the villain of this new Dan Slott run.
You reckon?
I do, which is actually kind of cool in its own right, because that means we get to see Dan Slott write Doctor Doom.
That'd be pretty cool.
I mean, I think that's what they want to do. They want to slowly but surely start the march for Victor Von Doom back to being a bad guy.
Yeah, well, I think with the return of the Fantastic Four, that's probably going to happen.
Yeah. I mean, I hope they give him a good send-off. I hope they give him a good reason to return to villainy, but I definitely think that's the way they're going with it. Slott gave a very in-depth interview, too, about what he had planned for Iron Man, and I liked what he had to say. He compared him to Reed Richards, where, Reed Richards is the guy who's always trying to find a better future, who's always trying to, find the truth out there, man. But where, him, because he's a scientist and because he's a man and an adventurer, he's all about building the future, about building the next big thing.
Yeah, yeah.
And I'm like, I like that. I like a Tony Build type series. I'm okay with that.
Yeah, that sounds like a lot of fun.
That does sound like a lot of fun. I'm all right with that. And, with Dan Slott back on it, too, they're treating Iron Man like a flagship series, as it should be.
Yeah, like they listened to what we said a couple of episodes ago.
Yeah, make your flagship series, and then people will want to read them, and hopefully, the books will take care of themselves. So yeah, I mean that's the news, everyone. That's some pretty good stuff, some stuff to look forward to. Pretty positive about everything, wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, it's a good time to be a comic book fan.
Most def. Looks like everything, the puzzle pieces are falling into place. Everything is as it should be, as they say. So, I mean, I guess with that, we can hop on over into what we read this week. And I read a fair amount this week, Matt. How about you?
I did as well.
All right. You want to go first?
You can go first.
Okay, I'll go first then. Well, I was already talking about Dan Slott, so let's talk about a book that ended this week. Amazing Spider-Man Venom Inc. Omega, the end of the Venom Inc. storyline.
Right.
Crossover storyline. It's not all Dan Slott. It was Dan Slott and Mike Costa.
Okay.
Yeah, it was fucking dumb. just full stop. It was fucking dumb. Like, I mean, Venom Inc. wasn't going to win any prizes for being, a cerebral book of the year or anything, but it started off pretty cool. It was nice to see Flash Thompson come back. He got to be the anti-Venom now because I think they've given up on having him be Venom, period, especially because Eddie Brock's going to be in the movies again. But they're like, hey, we gave him a suit, and it's kind of like his old suit. And I'm like, all right. And hey, you remember Lee Price, that Venom everyone hated when we tried to launch a new Venom for some reason? Well, he's the villain in this, only he's fucking stupid. Because apparently he pulls new symbiote powers out of his ass all over the place, where he's like, oh, I can regurgitate symbiotes, and then they latch onto your face like an alien face hugger, and then I can control your mind. Oh, that's amazing. What are you going to do with this power? Are you going to, go after the Avengers or the President or Captains of Industry and, take over the world all like they live body stature style? No, I'm going to go after the five families because I want to be Kingpin of New York. Oh.
Oh, he's shooting for the stars.
I don't think I've ever seen a villain with so much power shoot so low as this guy. Like, shockingly. There's a point where he has control over Spider-Man. He's like, I will ruin Spider-Man's reputation as to help further my plan. And I'm like, you don't want him to unmask for you or anything so you can, know who he is and use that against him in the future? No, really? Okay.
Yeah, you could have like controlled him, taken him into like a public place, unmasked him, and just like get him to reveal everything. And
Yeah, you're not even gonna threaten this. You're not gonna like go through his phone for like superhero contact him. No, okay, fine, whatever. You do you, man. And then at the end, it turns into a big dumb kaiju movie where he's like, "Oh, I'm recalling back all the symbiotes to me, and I'm growing big. I'm the big Venom Stay Puft Marshmallow Man." And I'm like, wow, this is really dumb too. And the heroes, oh, we're fighting him, but we can't beat him for some reason, even though the Mania symbiote is no more or less powerful than the other ones. And they're like, oh, we're all out of anti-venom bullets. What do we do? I don't know, sound, fire, any of the other things that actually work on symbiotes? Why did you all forget this all of a sudden?
'Cause stupid.
Because we're stupid. And then eventually they find out the key to stopping Lee Price is for Anti-Venom to get some of Peter Parker's radioactive spider blood so he can level up and become Super Saiyan Flash Thompson. And his suit grows spikes and like big protrudy like arm razors, because for some reason the Spider-Man books are really obsessed with characters having little stinger things on their arms. And then they launch him at Maniac, and then he like blows him up and everything, which is extra dumb because up until now the whole theme of the story has been about how like, oh, not every symbiote is evil, Spider-Man. You need to give them a chance. It's all about who's wielding them. Meanwhile, they just execute this symbiote for no good reason. And I'm like, wow, this is really stupid. But the dumbest part actually comes at the end with Black Cat, because you'll recall she's been the kingpin of crime up until now, right?
Yeah.
That's been her story since the end of Superior Spider-Man. So she's been like this for years now. Yeah. She's like, oh no, Lee Price destroyed my empire. I better go back to just being anti-hero Black Cat. And all I can think is like, he didn't destroy your empire. He took over your henchmen. They're fine. Your henchmen aren't dead. Your empire is fine. It's not like he destroyed your businesses or burnt your money or anything. You're still fine. If anything, the criminals of New York will respect you more because you helped defeat Lee Price and free them from the evil mind-controlling symbiotes. But no, she's just done being a kingpin of crime now, and she's just going to go back to being old Black Cat, which I think was Dan Slott being like, okay, here's one of the bigger things I've changed. I've reset the characters now for the next writer.
Oh, jeez.
But I hope you enjoyed that, because that's just one of several new Venom series coming very soon. He's going to have a crossover with X-Men Blue starting this week, I think. And then after that, there's the Venomized event crossover.
God, jeez. And this is all probably because of the movie.
Yeah.
But yeah, they have some weird fascination with Venom. I have no idea what it is.
I think in their heart of hearts, Marvel has always loved Venom and has always loved slapping Venom on the covers of things, because they know that like anything with Venom increases prices. It's been that way since the 90s. But now it's like, oh, well, now he's in a movie. Now we actually have an excuse to do so. Put Venom in everything for no reason. Because, that Venom movie, everyone's going to want to see that.
Oh, yeah, everyone. I know I'm pre-ordering my midnight release tickets, and
oh, you should, because I mean those are going to sell out. You better do that. I mean, did you see Tom Hardy in that set photo they showed?
He had a notebook
and a shirt. We've never seen Venom with a shirt before.
It's never been done before. It's risky.
It's risky. It's a bold move. They may have gone too far in a couple places, but we'll see if it pays off. Yeah, so that was Venom Inc. Started strong, but boy, did it ever end weak.
Yeah, that sucks.
Yeah, weak sauce. Give me a palate cleanser, Matt. Give me something better.
Well, I was going to talk about Batman issue 39.
Oh, but okay, let's talk about this. Oh boy, oh man, get your hating shoes on, everybody, because boy howdy. This was a big, steamy piece of crap, wasn't this one?
Yeah, this was a pile of shit.
And after, 3 issues of Tom King actually winning me over to his side on his Batman book, where it's like, wow, he can really write a good Superman, and wow, through the Lois and Clark relationship, I actually do kind of get what he's doing with Catwoman and Batman, because love is blind and everything, they deserve to be happy. And even that little mystery one-off he did with the serial killer who just so happened to call himself Bruce Wayne, I'm like, all right, that's kind of clever.
Yeah, that was a cool issue, but yeah, this issue was shit.
You hear that sound? That psst? That's Tom King pissing away all the goodwill he had. And not even with us. Like, here's the thing, man. You and I have always kind of been on the outset of Tom King, where it's like, I don't know, everyone loves him, but a lot of this seems really dumb. And everyone's like, oh, shut up, he's the best Batman writer of all time. Here, a lot of people changed their minds, and a lot of people were like, you know what, maybe he's always been crappy, and we've just been lying to ourselves.
Yeah, a lot of people kind of started to realize that, and it's partly due to how he wrote Wonder Woman this issue.
Yeah, he writes a Wonder Woman unlike any other, by which I mean she's cold, abrasive, mean-spirited, and also kind of a homewrecker for no good reason.
Yeah, for some reason she was like flirting with Bruce and everything, and like for no real reason.
Yeah, and I mean, the fact that he even needs to get Wonder Woman on board with him marrying Catwoman felt unnecessary. It's like, well, but by winning Superman over, he wins over the heart of the superhero universe, and clearly Clark will go to bat for him with all the other Justice Leaguers, right? He doesn't have to do this with everyone on the team, does he?
No, remember that this issue is the same issue that, you know, he absolutely dogs on Superman, saying he's not a fighter or anything, you know.
Yeah.
Saying Batman, him, a human, is better than, you know, a literal god at fighting a never-ending war.
Yeah, after in the last issue of like, oh, he's my best friend, and, you know, I'm afraid to talk to him because, you know, I wouldn't want him to think any less of me. He does a complete 180 on that here and goes, Superman ain't shit. I'm shit. Look at my awesome Dark Knight armor that I built because I thought I'd be fighting a fantasy war at some point. And that's just one of many, like, logical problems that start to build up and make no goddamn sense in this issue. So there is a guy called the Gentleman who exists somewhere in some pocket dimension who fights an unending war against demons who are trying to break into our world. The Justice League met him at some point during some adventure somewhere.
Yeah, never mentioned anywhere else, you know.
Until this moment, which Tom King loves this. This is what I hated about that Talia al Ghul thing, where it's like, tell us where we are. Tell us the rules. Nope, don't want to tell you things. Nope, not going to tell you. No. I want to tell my story my way, Matt, and, you know, giving like facts and context will ruin that. So I'm just not going to say anything.
I go from the Brian Michael Bendis book, which is continuity doesn't exist and ain't shit.
No, as far as I'm concerned. But yeah, so Batman and Wonder Woman decide. Well, Batman doesn't really decide. Wonder Woman decides for them. Oh, hey, we're going to go and we're going to relieve the Gentleman and we're going to let him have a night off and we're going to go fight this never-ending wave of demons for him because we like him that much.
But why does it have to be those two? Why couldn't it just be like the League? Because the time works different. They could go for like a couple of hours and be there for like 50 odd years.
Well, they don't know that. We'll get to the time shit in a minute, Matt. But yeah, Wonder Woman says that Batman needs to come with her because he's the greatest hand-to-hand combatant on Earth next to her. And in this world, superpowers don't work. And, you know, it's only your martial skills that matter. To which obviously raises a bunch of red flags where it's like, well, technically Superman could have been useful in this because while he has superpowers, that's his own inherent genetics. How does this dimension work in stifling metahuman abilities?
Yeah, it doesn't make much sense. And like, why wouldn't his powers work when their sun is yellow? Because that's where his powers come from.
There's clearly a yellow sun in this universe, so that shouldn't be a problem. Also, if it's just martial strength you're after, why just take Batman? Why not take, like, Bronze Tiger and Black Canary?
The best fighters in the DC. Ted Grant. All these best fighters.
Richard Dragon. This would have been a great showcase for, like, and here's all the guys who are really good with their fists. But nah, just Wonder Woman and Batman will be fine against a never-ending army. Yeah. Two people are fine. Also, too, Wonder Woman clearly had her power. She was clearly super strong and super durable and super everything else. She's a demigod, which means she gets her powers from, you know, I guess, magical ancient biology or whatever, but her powers are baked into her. Why wasn't she affected?
Exactly. The rules of this universe are fast and loose.
To which to say there's almost no rules at all. It's just like, look, I want Batman and Wonder Woman to go on an adventure together. I don't care how we get there, but no one else can come. And also, too, it's like Batman's only been married to Catwoman for, like, how long now? And
he isn't even married. He's, like, engaged.
They're engaged. Yeah, he's only been engaged for how long? He's like, okay, honey, going away on a possible suicide mission. See you later. Oh, yeah, and also take the gentleman out on the town for me, will ya? And do so in your civilian mode. So, be sure to reveal your secret identity to this guy you're just meeting.
Yeah, this guy who we don't know how will act.
No, in fact, we don't even know his name beyond the gentleman.
No, but we learn he has a wife, and apparently, and that's it.
Well, we know he has a wife, and the thing is he's not actually from ancient times, despite the fact that he wears ancient armor, fights with a sword, and fights a bunch of demons. No, he's actually from modern day, and the reason is because this dimension, time moves differently, like an hour there is like 50 years, 100 years, whatever. You don't age, but time moves super fast or super slow, however you want to look at it. So let me get this straight. Batman and Wonder Woman jumped into this universe not knowing the rules.
No. This is Batman who needs to know everything and anything about these places. Mr. Paranoid,
Mr. Greatest Detective, Mr. Always Prepared. And there's even a line when they say, oh, we've been here so long, I don't know if the gentleman's ever going to come back. You mean you didn't have an exit strategy for this place? You're just like, oh, the gentleman will come back and pick us up at some point, right? Which begs the question, how did you even get in there to begin with?
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense.
It's so fucking dumb. And then you really rub the salt in the wound, because it's like, okay, here's a bunch of illogical bullshit, and here's where you add the character stuff. So we've just gotten people on board with Catwoman and Batman as a couple, right?
Mm-hmm.
Let's throw a curveball in there. What if one night of, after fighting demons and everything, what if Batman and Wonder Woman decide to bone?
Yeah. Oh, drama. We got drama now.
I think they have a word for that, man. It's called soap opera. Which I know all comics are basically at their heart soap operas, but it's like, this was a poor choice after just getting us on board with this. Now you're making Batman a cheater and making Wonder Woman a seductress. No, bad, Tom King, bad.
Yeah, especially after they tried to do drama with Talia and Selena and everything. That was a little bit better handled.
Yeah, I mean, I still didn't like that story very much, but yeah, that was at least somewhat better handled than this. And it's not just us complaining too. Tom King literally apologized on Twitter. Apparently he got blasted from all sides on this one.
He did, he really did.
They ripped his ass a new one. And he's like, oh, I'm sorry, everyone. I guess I still have a lot to learn about, writing and everything and fan interaction. I'm like, yeah, you do. Thank you for admitting it. But at the same time, too, it's like, can we all see now the problem with Tom King, that it's not just me and Matt being haters? These problems have always been here. You're just now noticing them?
Yeah, now it's taken, 39, 38 issues for you to realize that something is wrong here.
Now, that's not to say he's a hack. A hack wouldn't be able to have written Vision the way he did. A hack wouldn't be able to write Mr. Miracle the way he's writing it. But I think it just speaks to what he excels at. He's very good at writing weird, fringe characters off on their own, where he's allowed to play around and do what he wants with little to no interference from, continuity and everything else that's going on. Don't put this man on your AAA flagship books anymore until he learns,
Yeah, books that are connected to other books that came out that week or something,
Yeah, don't let him do stuff that could constitute character assassination, because that's what this for Wonder Woman, it felt like a bit of character assassination, even for Batman too, to some degree.
Yeah, it did.
It also probably helps that, in writing characters like Vision and Mr. Miracle, it's kind of done with a bit of dream realism there, where it's like I can accept them doing weird stuff, and logic doesn't have to make 100% sense. But here it's like you don't even try to make the dots connect.
Yeah, it just does it.
You actively don't even try. And man, here's the thing. Some people are like, oh, I wonder after all the, backlash he got if he'll course correct for issue 40. Issue 40 is already probably at the goddamn printer. Here's the thing. People can't course correct on comics as quickly as you think they can. They have to be written, drawn, approved, and sent up to print before, especially this one, because it's on a rotating week schedule.
Yeah, this one, it's not going to be out this coming week, but next week.
So, the finale of this one.
Yeah.
Which, goddamn, I wonder what that next one's going to hold.
Oh, God.
It's amazing to see backlash like this, and for once I can actually say, yeah, this was very much deserved backlash. This wasn't like people getting mad like, I hate that creative choice. It's like people are like, no, I'm mad at this for very valid reasons.
Yeah, they're very, very valid reasons this time.
Yeah. So, like, here's the thing. If you want to be mad at that, you can be mad at that.
Yeah.
Please do. I wonder, is the shine officially off Tom King now? Possibly.
Yeah, maybe.
Possibly. So, oh god, now we really need a palate cleanser to something that was actually good and something we enjoyed. Superman from this week.
Oh, Superman from this week was amazing.
Nice little one shot in a day and age when we're getting more nice little one shots. What was this one about, Matt?
This one was about Superman and the Justice League fulfilling Make-A-Wish Foundation wishes, basically.
Yeah, basically. Yeah, more or less. I called my one of this King for a Day, which I found out apparently King for a Day is a phrase that doesn't track to other countries. Apparently that's a phrase they never got because they never got the game show. But yeah, Make-A-Wish Foundation, I think more people are aware of what that is.
Yeah, and it was just super nice. It was Superman after fighting, D-list villains like the Demolition Men.
Who are in no way like the Wrecking Crew.
Yeah, no, these guys are shit.
Yeah,
they're awful.
Yeah, well, these guys are so bad they make the Wrecking Crew look like the goddamn secret society of supervillains.
It did though. When I read it, I'm like, it made me kind of respect like D-list like heroes from like Metropolis and stuff who have to deal with Superman. They don't give up. They don't, and I respect them for that.
Oh yeah, they stayed at it. They were in it for the gold. It's great too to see Superman in a fight after all these big Titanic fights with like Manchester Black and Mr. Oz and everything. To have Superman just be bored in a fight and just be like, you guys really need to step your shit up.
Yeah, he was disappointed in a way.
Like you guys can do better. Like come back with a nuke, come back with something, so you at least stand a chance. It's like that bit in one of the Austin Power movies when Michael Caine is beating up all those henchmen. It's like, look at you don't even have a name tag. You don't even stand.
Yeah, just lie down. Just lie down.
Just lie down. Just save me the trouble of even having to punch you. But yeah, they meet some nice kids who are suffering from cancer in the Metropolis Children's Hospital, and they decide to take them up on the watchtower and have a fun scavenger hunt with them.
Yeah, that was really good. You get the greatest treasure of them all is Batman smiling.
Yeah. And they do the lost in translation thing where you don't know what the kid actually said to him to make him smile. I like to imagine he said, "Hey, Batman, I totally took an upper decker in Superman's personal toilet when he wasn't watching." And Batman's like, "That's fucking sweet, kid. You're awesome."
I hid his trunks.
I hit his trunk. Yes, that's why I hit them. He's been walking around this whole time. He doesn't even know he's not wearing them. And Batman's like, "That's sick as hell, kid. Tell you what, if you ever go into remission, if you want to become Robin, you can."
Hey, you want to be the new Oracle?
You can. You're in a wheelchair. That's like half the job description. Do you know computers? Heck, even if you don't know computers, do you know how to work Google Maps? That's basically what you need. Half that high tech shit isn't even cool anymore. But yeah, it was just a genuine, nice, sweet time. A good little one shot that reminds us, hey, as much as us, 20-somethings and adults are really into the minutia of superheroes, at the end of the day, the heart and soul of the superhero genre, especially of Superman, is the love, joy, and admiration of children.
Yeah, exactly.
I would call this a reaffirming issue, is what I would call this.
Yeah, I would as well.
This was a very reaffirming issue. I like it when... I would say that's probably one of the greatest triumphs of the DC Rebirth era. That is okay, here's our big arc, and then here's one or two breathers.
Yeah, I really like that they've been doing that, and they've been doing it consistently as well. It's not like something they did for the first volume or something. They've been consistently doing them with all their books, I think.
Consistently over all the books, too. I like you're allowed to take a breather. Once or twice a week. I think that's really nice because before in DC DC Rebirth, it was just one big story, or no, sorry, New 52. It was here's one big story to another big story to an annual to another big story.
Yeah. So they definitely learned something from that, and also Marvel could stand to to really learn something from that, and break up these big events with like couple of breather issues.
Yeah, just have some fun time for characters. That'd be nice. Like maybe the Avengers go to a movie and everything, and they try and talk about like, okay, who's getting snacks and who's going to save seats.
Yeah, maybe the X-Men just have a day at the school and just like learn something.
They used to do that all the time. Remember when the X-Men played baseball? They should do that again.
Yeah, exactly.
They should have a whole issue that's just them playing baseball and then being like, oh, this year I'm going to win, I tell you.
Yeah, hey, no powers.
Yeah, no power. Oh, shit, that would be a thing. To see, like, okay, who actually is sports inclined without the use of powers. That would be fun. Colossus is on our team.
Yeah, he's the quarterback.
Yeah, he's the quarterback. Yeah, hey, even if, he doesn't have his metal powers, he still is built like a brick shithouse. And is probably good at sporting. But yeah, that was Superman. Superman was good.
Yeah.
What else did you have?
Let's look at my list here. We had the second part of No Surrender. Avengers issue 676.
Yep, we sure indeed did. The Secret Origin of Voyager.
Yeah, or part Secret Origin of Voyager.
Yeah, because there's surely going to be more coming. There's clearly a lot of this story they're still not telling us.
Yeah, we don't know where she came from, but we know where she went. We know about the death of Voyager.
Yes, she was a founding member of the Avengers back even in the first issue. And a lot of people gave out about this cover, but I quite enjoyed the cover where it's human hands holding the cover of the original Avengers #1, but it's Voyager superimposed there with the rest.
And then through the issue, they had like those little annotations like, this happened in Avengers 1, don't you remember? And I really liked that. I thought that was really meta.
That was a super nice touch, and also like, hey, look, we do actually pay attention and care about our history. Look at us as we actually cite issues where this shit really happened.
Yeah, but yeah, we get to learn a little bit about Valerie Vector and her fight with the hero Victory, who is apparently like an old Mark Waid like reference to like an old character he made for like, it was like Justice League or something.
Yes, who under similar circumstances was like, oh, I was always a leaguer, you just forgot about me.
Yeah, so that I thought that was a really cool reference, and yeah.
That is a nice touch.
I have a feeling we're going to see Victory again.
Oh, do you now?
Yeah, I have a feeling he's going to be coming back. Because he looked too well designed to not just be like a one-page sort of throwaway character.
He did have a great entrance to I'm Victory, the electromagnetic man.
Yeah.
He's got a name and a sub-name. That's always good. And yeah, they explain that electromagnetic man's powers had a weird effect on Voyager, who, as we discover, she's called Voyager because she has the power to, like, surf time and space. I don't know how that's useful in a fight, but she can do it.
Well, she can go back and, like, kill or stop the bad guy before he starts attacking them, or she knows like where he's going to attack or something.
I guess I'm gonna say is she hit from Dragon Ball Super? Can she like skip time a little bit and just like punch people in the nuts? If so, that's a pretty great power.
Yeah, but she we found out she's been like trapped in like another dimension watching the Marvel universe and all the stuff that's happened.
10 years.
Yeah, and so she come back and she's not the leader of the Avengers now. She said she doesn't want to be.
They make a very solid point of her saying like, hey, Rogue, Sunspot, Sam, you guys got this. I'm not going to step on your toes. I'm just going to follow along.
Yeah.
Which is so hilarious because some people, their reading of this is so incorrect and just so, out of left field, where they're like, oh, I hate how they've shoehorned Voyager into this story and are trying to make us like her. Shoehorned implied that they would, stick her into something that was already ongoing. They built this story with her in mind. She can't be shoehorned when she's the focal point of it. Furthermore, you're not supposed to like her. You're supposed to be suspicious of her.
Exactly. Yeah, I am very suspicious of her. Something's going. She's going to be like a villain or something, or something to do with like Victory or something, I reckon.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Like maybe they switched consciousnesses or something.
Yeah, but it also implies there's something going on with something called a pyramid, because the Black Order and the Lethal Legion show up.
Which, what a fucking pull for the Lethal Legion. For those who don't know, the Lethal Legion was the first group of assembled bad guys that the Avengers ever fought back in the day, and they were made up of like Swordsmaster and like a bunch of D-listers.
Yeah, and here they come back, they look awesome, and they fight the Black Order, but there's like some voice that tells them there's like a battle or something happening. I have no idea what.
It's a game with rules and everything.
Yeah, so maybe something like the Grandmaster or something might be involved.
That would be likely.
Yeah, that I mean, very likely.
We see the Grandmaster
exactly.
for a minute in a flashback because Voyager apparently went missing during the original battle of like the Grandmaster and Kang when they were playing chess with all the heroes, and that very much seems to be what's going on now with the Black Order and the Lethal Legion.
Yeah, there's some battle, and the Black Order decide, well, we're gonna maybe slightly cheat and get rid of some obstacles, so they blow up the Avengers Mansion.
Yeah, which, hey, good on them. That makes a lot of sense. That's a pretty good move.
Yeah, it's a pretty good move. And just from the cover of the next issue, I know it's going to involve something with Quicksilver, probably saving them all like they did in, Apocalypse.
That's right. Also, too, speaking of movies, hey, it's nice to see the Black Order getting some play outside of Thanos, because clearly they're going to be important for the next movie, so it's time to up their presence and let people know what their deal is.
Yeah, when I saw that, I'm like, oh, cool, the Black Order are back. That must mean they're in the movie coming up.
Even though I also raised an eyebrow, I'm like, wait, Corvus Glaive and Ebony Maw, weren't you guys, like, dead in the Thanos book? Did you guys come back to life somehow?
Yeah, it's weird. It's a time travel, maybe, I don't know.
Yeah, also, like, Black Swan and the other one, didn't you get killed, too, by Hela at the end of the Unworthy Thor miniseries? Have you guys been stolen from time, or were you just resurrected, or what's the dealio?
No idea. Well, that's the same thing with, like, the Lethal Legion. We haven't seen them in years.
It's true, but this is a new lineup for the Lethal Legion. We got the Blood Brothers, who are like Drax the Destroyer villains. We have a new version of Metal Master, and I like they make a point of saying the new Metal Master, because old Metal Master actually played a big part in that Black Bolt miniseries everyone read.
Yeah.
So they need to be sure to say, no, it's a different guy.
Mm-hmm.
He's tiny. He's a little teensy tiny man. But yeah, I thought this one was very cool. I'm still very much into No Surrender, and I'm excited to see where it's going to go, and I can see where it goes this week.
Yeah, it feels like an Avengers book.
It really, really does. It harkens back to an era of Avengers when we were just starting to read comics. It feels very old school in a very good way.
Yeah. And it's good to just read these without, like, you got to read US Avengers and then Uncanny Avengers and then this book and then this other book. It's all in one book.
Yeah, I hope they do this more, where it's like, no, it's just one, just read this one.
Yeah.
It's kind of nice, too, that they're doing, like, a balance of old and new characters. I thought that was very well handled. They're respecting the continuity as it's been written, which I guess they have to, because it's the three writers of the three main Avengers books. They wrote the modern continuity, so they're not going to piss on their own work. It's funny, too. Issue 1 of this story, you could definitely feel the Mark Waid influence. It was very Mark Waid-y. And this second issue felt very Al Ewing, because it's all cosmic and all, like, kind of retcon-y and all this other stuff. And I'm like, oh, I like this. Does that mean that issue 3 will be more Jim Zub heavy and there'll be more, like, character interaction and more, like, funny stuff?
Maybe. I think maybe that's what they're going to be doing. Like, they'll all be writing, like, okay, we're having, like, a cosmic battle. Al, that's your domain. You can write this part.
Hey, Jim, we're writing a more character-centric scene, kind of interpersonal dynamics. Do you want this? And okay, Mark, we're doing more like, superhero deep dives and everything in history and all this other stuff. It's like, okay, you want to take this one, which honestly, if you have 3 writers, that's a pretty smart way to write it, where it's like, okay, let's all divvy up work and play to our strengths.
Exactly, yeah.
And then we'll work and we'll stitch it together, and that will be the story.
Yeah.
Not a bad way to write it at all, actually.
No.
I wish more weekly series did that, because in other weekly series, it's like, oh, yeah, this is where this person stopped giving a fuck. This is where this person rewrote that other guy's work, and it didn't sound right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's definitely cool. What else did we have this week? Oh, I guess the other big story that finally came to a close. Super Sons issue 12, the finale of Super Sons of Tomorrow was this week.
Yeah, and it was a pretty good closing to this mini event.
See, I did not like it. I thought they left way too much unaddressed and basically said, "Hey, you want to see what happens next? Go read the other books in this series." To where I'm like, well, I was already reading the books in this series.
I'm glad they didn't go overboard with it. I'm glad it didn't end up being like, oh, all these characters are now back and this is all going to happen. Because
I didn't think they were going to do that.
Yeah, I think a lot of people did think they were, going by my comment section. But yeah, I really respect that they were really reserved, especially with Connor and Superman's interactions and everything. Didn't give too much away.
That I think more than anything else was the moment that blue balled the fuck out of people, where it's like, oh, so Connor and Superman are finally going to get to talk, right? And they're going to talk about how he doesn't exist in this world and how that's a problem. Nope, he can't actually talk about anything. He's got to go back to his own world.
But they did it in a really great way, where so you told me never to talk about stuff like this because it could end up like destroying time itself.
That was cute. If they were gonna blue balls us, they at least did it in a cute way. There was also where it's like, okay, well, what about Tim Drake? What about Savior, the kind of villain of the story who ended up not being the villain of the story? Oh, he's gone now. He's cruising hyper time.
Yeah,
which makes me
he's there for another writer to use later on.
Oh yeah, which makes me very strongly think, I'm like, okay, so you gave him a new status quo and a new costume. Is he going to be getting a book or a mini-series or something? It sounds like you're kind of testing the waters for him to go do something else.
I'd like that. I'd like a book where it's just this savior, and he's decided, well, I fixed that time. I'm going to go around and fix all of time now. Like all the different timelines and everything.
All the things that Dr. Manhattan broke, I'm going to be like the time fixer.
Yeah, yeah.
Which, hey, I mean, I've heard worse pitches. I mean, yeah, his new costume, new name, I'd watch that. The thing that also got to me, too, where it's like, okay, so a bunch of the Teen Titans Judased against the other members of the team. Heads are going to roll for this, right? Not in this book, they're not.
Yeah, they I knew heads were going to roll, but yeah, I was kind of expecting they would in this book, but yeah, it seems like probably next issue of Teen Titans.
Yeah. Also, Kid Flash, who just got welcomed back to the team after working with Deathstroke, being an idiot and threatening all space and time, being like, oh, I took a selfie with the Teen Titans of tomorrow. And it's like, God damn it, Wally, really? You are your own worst enemy, man. I try and stick up for you so much, and then you do dumb shit like that.
Now, what I'm hoping, I'm not reading Teen Titans at the moment, but I probably will start again. What I hope is that the team undergoes like a roster change because of this.
Right.
Because, yeah, the team literally, like, wanted to kill someone, because some future guy said so.
Yeah, I know, right? They turn against their friends because, like, oh, but Tim Drake said so, and we got a big boner for Tim Drake. So, obviously, we were willing to, commit murder of a child who's younger than us. But the bad guy we worked with turned out to not be bad in the end, maybe, kind of, sort of, and he disappeared. My question is, if they were to shuffle the team, who would they put on the team? I mean, I guess Emiko Red Arrow is waiting in the wings, and she was not created by, but she's written by Benjamin Percy, who also writes Teen Titans, so that would make sense.
Mm-hmm.
Blue Beetle also waiting in the wings currently. He doesn't have a book anymore, so he would be a perfect fit for the Teen Titans.
Yeah.
Plus, people like him, and that would be a good place to park him if they had to park him somewhere.
Yeah. Get Natasha Irons. She's just finished up her run in Superwoman. She's got no book to go to. Get her. She's a young teen.
There you go. Does she have powers? What does she do?
She wears like a steel costume.
Oh, okay, that's cool and different.
Yeah.
I wonder also, because Tim Drake is back to life now, will Tim Drake be like, okay, Damien, you kind of fucked this up now. I'm taking over the team now. You and John can just go and be the Super Sons.
Well, this issue they even call into question like the Super Sons, like, hey, is this gonna happen? Is this still gonna happen? And of course it is, because the book's selling really well.
Yeah, To which, they even brushed that off in a way that I felt unsatisfactory with, where Superman's like, okay, well, according to this time traveler, Damian, you're going to push my son at some point in the future, and he's going to go supernova and destroy all of Metropolis. I should probably break you two up as a team just to be safe and make sure that never happens. Only for them to be like, nah, Dad, time's already been changed. I don't know how they know that, but it's fine. Although I did appreciate John being like, no, I want to still hang out with Damian. He's the only one who had my back, even though those other guys cutest against me. It's like, yo, Dad, in the prison yard that is the Teen Titans, Damian actually had my back on this one. Those other guys were going to kill me, apparently. Raven, Kid Flash, and the other one, they had no problem just killing me. Which, goddamn. And then they even don't vote him into the Teen Titans when they have the option. They're like, no, John, we like you. This isn't about you. This is about us.
It's not you, it's me.
It's not you, it's me, him. Out of a spot on the Teen Titans. And I'm like, wow, they're actually going there. And I'm like, why is no one more angry about the betrayal? But yeah, so that was Super Sons. Matt liked it. I thought it was a little all over the place. I wasn't mad at it, but I'm just like, come on, if you're going to make an epilogue, actually give us some epilogue. Just don't tell us, go read these other books. That's how I felt about it. What else did you have, Matt? I think I only have about one or two more books actually to talk about.
Yeah, I think that's about same for me. Justice League 37.
I meant to read this. I've been enjoying what Christopher Priest has been doing.
It's been really good. This issue kind of explains the twist, and the twist is obviously Batman hasn't been doing all this bad and evil shit. It's been a doppelganger, a copycat,
right?
Who is a guy named Joshua, and we find a little bit about him. We see him; he's like a fanboy, basically. He likes watching the Justice League. He was at a Justice League fight when they were fighting the Shaggy Man. The interesting thing about this team makeup as well, it was all the original members. So Martian Manhunter and everything all showed up.
The second time Priest has mentioned Martian Manhunter.
Yeah. He got crushed by some rubble during the fight and got his leg broken, and he decided, I'm gonna train and become strong like these heroes, and kind of got corrupted in the way and ended up joining the army and killing women, children, all those sorts of things. And he's been picking apart the team since he was once their technician, their watchtower technician. He built their systems or something. Because he's super smart, so he knows everything about them, knows all their secret identities, all that sort of shit. So he's able to
he sounds a little like Snapper Carr, actually.
Yeah, he's able to take them out really easily, and that's what he was going to do. He's like one of those fans that threaten to kill people who don't like what they like.
Because that's what he's a bad fan.
Yeah, that's what he does. This issue, he tries to kill I want to say a Bill O'Reilly-ish type news host.
I skimmed the book and I saw the talking head, so I know what you're talking about. Yeah,
and the League already knew he was going to do that, so they I don't know what's with Christopher Priest doing this, but he likes dressing up Aquaman.
He likes costumes. He really does. Yeah, I skimmed through the book too, and I saw Wonder Woman was wearing an undercover costume too. Yeah. And I'm like, they don't put on costumes enough, do they?
Yeah, I like that he's doing something different with them. And he had Aquaman dressing up as this guy and to trap him, and they caught him, but they didn't really catch him because he has their teleporters under his control and all that sort of stuff. But he did a really cool thing with Simon, which is he made Simon think he got his ring off and put it in a stasis cube. But what he really did was he tricked Simon's mind into thinking his ring wasn't there on his finger, but where it was the entire time.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, it was really, really smart. This villain is really original and kind of dangerous, so I hope he doesn't just get killed or anything.
Also, too, after how many times we've seen the Justice League fight aliens or conquerors from other dimensions, I like this idea they're just fighting one obsessed toxic fanboy.
They're fighting someone who's Batman but better than Batman.
I know all your moves, basically. He's that guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll definitely have to check that one out. I like what Christopher Priest has been doing with Justice League. I know it's not everyone's cup of tea, but I think it's what the book needed at the moment.
Oh, definitely, especially after Brian Hitch fucked it up.
Yeah, it's like you really couldn't go wrong after that. The second to last book I read this week was Mighty Thor, issue number 703. We are getting very close to the supposed death of the Mighty Thor, the death of Jane Foster, and her condition takes a major turn this issue.
Really?
Yes, she collapsed in the previous issue, which means Thor and Roz took her to go see Doctor Strange, who is Veterinarian Strange now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because he lost his job in his house. So he's got to make some money somehow. And it's this great moment where Strange is like, look, it is my professional opinion, both as a magician and as a doctor, that if you transform into Thor one more time, your cancer-ridden body will not be able to survive the transformation back.
Oh, jeez.
So, like, her hourglass is running out, and it's like, well, okay, so she just won't transform again. Yeah, problem with that, though. Asgard is being destroyed by Mangog right now, who is basically Norse Doomsday, and he's killing everybody.
Yep.
And they show what a badass Mangog is, because Heimdall's doing his best Gandalf, you shall not pass, on the Rainbow Bridge. Friggin' Mangog grabs him, takes 2 fingers, and gouges his eyes out.
Oh, Jesus.
Heimdall the all-seeing, Heimdall the guy who watches everything, gets his frickin' eyes gouged out. And then Kull, Odin's brother, is like, well, I'm not fighting that. Destroy the Rainbow Bridge, destroy it, and then maybe he can't get over to us. Doesn't work. They destroy the Rainbow Bridge for nothing, and Mangog still gets into the city. And then Freya's like, okay, you dicks, move aside. I'm going to take control of the Destroyer armor, and I'm going to unload everything it has on the Mangog, and surely that will destroy it. Nope. Mangog rips the Destroyer's head off, and because Freya was psychically linked to it at the time, she's like, ah!
Yeah.
So they're getting fucked, and Odin's just sitting there in the throne room being like, yep, Ragnarok's around the corner, I can feel it, this is it, it's felt like this before. Then the hammer that we now know, Mjolnir, has a mind of its own. It appears to Jane in the hospital, and, without words, it's like, hey, pick me up, you need to become Thor one last time to defeat this. And hilariously, it's Odin of all people who steps in between her and the hammer and basically says, would you leave her alone, please? Look how much you've already taken from her. And Jane thinks for a second. She's like, well, maybe I'll do it. Dying in a hospital bed, dying on the battlefield. What's the difference? Dead is dead. But then she looks around and she sees Odin's son and Sam, who she's kind of had an on and off relationship with.
Yeah.
But only in the Avengers book and only in the Thor book. Because in Sam's own book, he's clearly with Misty Knight, but he's not anymore. And they can't seem to make up their mind. And so she, looks at all her friends and she kind of has this realization where it's like, if I do this, it'll be the ultimate act of selfishness. It's not about me. My friends love me for the person I am, not just the hero I've become. And she agrees to actually, get back into bed and try and fight her cancer, only on the condition that, they go and they kick the Mangog's ass. And the final panel is, Thor showing up in Odin's throne room, and he and Odin are getting ready to fight the Mangog. And I'm like, that's cool.
That's awesome.
That's cool, and it's also interesting, and it's something that, once again, I think is lost on people. Where it's like, well, why didn't Thor get his hammer back then? I'm like, well, because the hammer clearly has a mind of its own, can't you tell? It's got its own agenda. Are you not more fascinated in why it wanted Jane and not Thor Odinson? No, vagina person, I want my penis Thor back. That's all I want. I'm like, yeah, I can tell. Just fucking enjoy the story. or just complain in my comment section endlessly, whatever. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was Thor 703. Super cool. Jason Aaron, he's really getting ready to put an exclamation point on all of this.
That sounds awesome.
I wonder when it's all done, too, and when inevitably Odinson becomes Thor again, because obviously we've already seen glimpses in the future. We know what's going to happen. He's got a redesigned hammer and a redesigned costume. Wonder if Aaron will stay on or if he'll tag out at that point.
Yeah. He might write, the first story, maybe set something up, but yeah.
Right.
Maybe.
The hot rumor for the longest time, and again, some of this is turning out not to be true, is that, he's going to take Avengers when it's all said and done, after No Surrender and after everything's been reshuffled, that he'll take over Avengers. I think the time, lines up on that, if that was to be the case,
Yeah.
I'd be for it. I mean, he's written one of the greatest Thor sagas of all time. Imagine what he could do with an Avengers saga.
Oh god, it'd be like classic Avengers again. It'd be amazing.
And if Odinson was a member, he could continue to write Thor there.
Exactly.
So it's like, hey, you want to see the further adventures of this? Go check this out. I would fully accept that. So yeah, that was Thor, and that was the second to last book I read this week. What did you have?
My last book was DC's New Age of Heroes debut with Damage issue 1.
Okay, see, I was gonna read Damage, but I figured I'll wait till all the first issues are out, and then I'll read all of them in one go. But tell me about Damage.
Damage, you should just maybe go read a Hulk book.
Because that's basically what it is.
Yeah, it's not even like trying to like hide it either. It's literally like a guy who has like a Hulk power, who hulks out. He's hunted by the military and the government, and
don't say.
Yeah, and he transforms back. He has an hour. He spends an hour as this monster called Damage, and then changes back to like a little scrawny man.
Is the little scrawny man also a smart, sensitive soul to juxtapose his monstrous form?
We don't know, but probably.
But probably so. Wow. So it's like when they did it with the Terrifics, it was like, oh, cool, we're finally going to be getting a Fantastic Four book, the one Marvel won't give us. But then it's like, oh, what are all these other Age of Heroes books? Oh, they're all just different takes on Marvel? Oh.
Yeah, like the Sideways one that's in the back of every book, that's like Spider-Man.
So Sideways is clearly Spider-Man. The Silencer is clearly just the Punisher.
Yep.
Again, we mentioned Damage is just the Hulk.
Yep.
And the Terrifics are just the Fantastic Four. To where I'm like, oh, this probably seemed like a way better idea when you were pitching this, when Marvel was fucking up and it didn't look like they were going to repair anything. But now they got the rights back to the Fantastic Four, and it looks like they're about to fix the X-Men, and it looks like they're about to shuffle Spider-Man around. This might not be a good idea anymore.
No, and this is what Dan DiDio came up with all of this, and he came up with like DCU as well. So and that fucked up in his face as well. So yeah, there's nothing new about this new Age of Heroes. It's all the same. The only thing that I thought was really cool about it was they pulled that plot thread from Justice League versus Suicide Squad of Task Force 11.
Oh yes, that's right. Yeah, what the fuck was up with Task Force 11? Yeah, okay.
They came in at the end of this issue with Amanda Waller and said, "We're taking over. You Colonel Jonas fucked up with this Damage thing. We're gonna go hunt him."
Huh. So is Amanda Waller in Task Force 11? Is that going to be Damage's General Ross?
I guess so. Yeah.
Which, I'm okay with that. If I can read Amanda Waller every week in a Hulk-like book, I'll read it.
I'm interested for this Task Force 11 mainly because like the team it's made of. It's got like Giganta,
really?
Deadshot. I think Harley Quinn's on it because of course.
Really, yeah. Deadshot and Harley Quinn are on this team? You can't be on Task Force 11 and Task Force X. You need to have new people. You can't work two jobs. What, are they getting two paychecks? They're not getting any paychecks. They're prisoners.
They got two bombs.
Two bombs, yeah, really. Fuck. See, you had me with Giganta, and then you totally killed my hype boner by saying Deadshot and Harley were on. And I love Deadshot and Harley on their own. I just hate the idea of them being on two teams.
They're popular, so of course they've got to have them in there.
To which I'm sure people will say, but Joel, Deadshot was on the Secret Six and on the Suicide Squad. I'm like, yeah, but not at the same time, though.
Yeah, and they're two different types of teams.
Exactly.
The task forces are literally the same thing, just with a different number after them.
See, again, were there no other shooty type villains you could have put in that place? Like, fuck. I mean, I know Tom King already killed Scalp Hunter, but I would have put Scalp Hunter on there. I would have put Count Vertigo on there. I would have put, Bronze Tiger, because, again, they were all Suicide Squad members previously, so it would make sense to put them on there.
Yeah, and I don't really see, again, it's that old thing, what's Harley Quinn going to do against, a Hulk? An armored Hulk at that.
Crack-wise.
Like
You
I
don't
could
know
I
how-
could understand Giganta being on the team because that's
Yeah.
actually makes sense.
Yeah, you should get a bunch of bruiser characters in there. You should get like Amygdala
Yeah.
or like a bunch of characters who are strong and that's their thing. I mean, if you're basically just making the Hulkbusters, have like, I don't know, some Hulkbustery people in there.
Yeah. That as well. He also fights a guy who was going to be the Hulk, be the Damage, and that's going to be like his I guess his main villain. Like he's going to be basically he's basically going to be Emil Blonsky.
I'll check it out. I'm gonna stand by what I said I was gonna do. I'm gonna wait till all these first issues come out, and then I'm going to read them all in one go and kind of contrast and compare. Hilariously, reviews are already out and they're basically echoing what we're saying. Like Bleeding Cool got to read all of them early.
Yeah.
Also, apparently the Silencer, they put that one up on like iTunes first because they're like trying to push their iTunes comic stuff now.
Okay then.
So you can like read the Silencer early, but only if you have iTunes. What's even more weird is that like the Silencer got name dropped in Nightwing a couple weeks ago.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, they're not going to do like what was DCU, where they introduced all these books and then suddenly they're like in everything else when they haven't been mentioned before that time or anything. Oh no.
Yeah.
Oh,
I
no.
don't know about this. Like here's the thing, man. It's too early to call. But as it stands right now, it's like, oh, New Age of Heroes might have been a bad idea.
And the funny thing is as well, they're like going like spinning out of metal, and I'm like, none of this is like related to metal in any way. I could understand
it's not done yet.
I could understand if it was like all these people like came about after like something happened in the world and all the nth metal activated and created all these metas, but that doesn't seem like what it's going to be doing.
Now, we're also getting a Challengers of the Unknown and an Immortal Men series. And I think those ones, like, I think Snyder is working on one of those, and I think, like, Tynan is working on one of those.
I think
I wonder, what are those teams supposed to be stand-ins for? Like, maybe the X-Men? Maybe, like, the Challengers of the Unknown are supposed to be, like, their version of the X-Men?
Yeah, it seems like it. And yeah, the Terrifics are the Fantastic Four, and...
Yeah, or like their Future Foundation. I'm trying to think like what other big Marvels. Maybe the Challengers of the Unknown are supposed to be the Exiles because they travel to the unknown.
And the Exiles are coming back.
Oh my god, man! Like here's the thing: everything in New Age of Heroes probably sounded like a great idea until Marvel started course correcting a bit.
Yeah, because all these books would have been decided like 12 months ago.
Is the only reason Exile's coming back because they wanted to like chess move Challengers of the Unknown because it might have just been an Exiles book. What is Immortal Men supposed to be then? Maybe Immortal Men is its own thing.
Yeah.
I think that's the Snyder one. No, it's Challengers of the Unknown is the Snyder one.
Yeah, or it might have been like a Spirit of Vengeance book or something, Spirits of Vengeance or something.
Right. And those ones don't come out till much later. Like they haven't even mentioned those yet.
I think one is every month or something.
Right. No, I'm sorry. Immortal Men is Jim Lee. Jim Lee is doing Immortal. Okay. Also, that's another thing about these New Age of Heroes books. They're very artist driven.
Yeah, they very are. Which is, and like they've even got like some good writers. Like Damage, I was surprised at like how like copy and paste it was, especially because it had Tony Daniel on the art and Robert Venditti writing it.
Actually, no. Here's the thing. Looking at what is it? Immortal Men right now. Immortal Men is James Tynan. Oh, hey, guy who looks like Beast. Hey, guy who looks like Phantom X. Oh, hey, girl who looks like either Warpath or what is it? Who's the other X-Men who's Native American, very popular? Moon.
Yeah,
something.
I don't know.
That one. But yeah, looking at it right now, I'm like, oh, well, this is interesting. So yes, you are clearly just supposed to be the X-Men.
Yeah, like a Weapon X team or something.
Yeah. Okay. This is interesting. I don't know how to feel about this now because like I just thought it was just gonna be the Terrifics that was gonna be the Marvel stand-in.
Yeah.
Oh no, wait, you're all Marvel stand-ins, huh? Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I was worried, like, coming up to this issue. I was like, oh, this is starting to look like the Hulk. I hope it's not the Hulk. And, it's the Hulk.
Well, here's the thing. They know that, too, because a bunch of the covers are references to famous Marvel covers.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's the bit with Silencer where she's clearly just shooting off the page like the Punisher did in, like, that famous War Journals cover.
Yeah.
So, like, they're doing it intentionally. Like, they know what they're doing. It's not a happy accident.
Yeah. I'm going to read all the first issues just because, like, this might be, like, the only one that's, like, a copy and paste. But, yeah, it doesn't look good at the moment.
No, where it's like, okay, like, if you want to do your own Hulk, that's cool, but what's your new angle? Okay, you want to do your own Spider-Man, that's cool, but what's your angle?
Yeah.
But, yeah, so that's that, everyone. I mean, I guess I'll go quick for my last one. Red's Peter Parker the Spectacular Spider-Man, issue number 299. Really solid. This book is really kicking in the turbos now. What started as a small Spider-Man story has actually ballooned into a story that's now involving all of the Avengers.
Cool.
Yeah, it's really cool. The Tinkerer takes a level in badass. The Tinkerer reworks one of the old Spider Slayers, only now he calls it a Hero Slayer, and it's a big kaiju monster that can fight all the heroes at once.
Oh, that's awesome.
And I'm like, that's pretty sweet. I'm all about that Tinkerer. And it actually has a genuinely surprising twist at the end if you've been following along.
Yeah?
Yeah. What one character we find out is actually not who we thought they were. They're actually someone else. And I'm like, oh, that actually makes a lot of sense.
That's cool. Is this like the other Legacy books where it's only going to get a couple of its Legacy numbering before ending?
I don't know. It's going to hit issue number 300, and I think 300 might be the end of this arc because it's been a really long arc. Like, it started before Legacy and is continuing now.
Yeah, is Chip Zdarsky writing it?
Yes, he is.
Yeah.
And in fact, he makes several references to his Star-Lord book. So
awesome.
So if you like that, and if you've liked anything Zdarsky has written in the last couple of years, check this out.
Cool.
And I guess with that, everyone, we can start winding down the show for this week. I gotta get to bed. I got an early day tomorrow, but I also want to make sure to get this rendered up and out for all of you to enjoy. So until next time, everyone, this has been Cave Joel. Thank you so much for watching and enjoying. Be sure, as always, to like, subscribe, favorite, and comment. We always enjoy getting to see those. You can follow both Matt and myself over on our Twitter pages, on our Facebook pages, so you always know what we got coming out next. We have links down in the description. And if you are a patron, Matt, people get to listen to this first, don't they?
They get to listen to this first for only $1.
For as little as $1 a month, you can listen to this and watch it too, because Matt is sure to get the video version up.
Yep.
And you can do all of that for as little as $1 a month, which we appreciate, which we always appreciate, and we appreciate even more now in these trying days of YouTube when it seems like they're trying to fuck over every small creator they possibly can.
Trying everything, every little trick in the book.
Everything. It's like, hey, remember we said, you need at least 10,000 hours watched before you can become a partner and start making money. Okay, now you need 10,000 hours watched and more, and you need 1,000 subscribers, but only during a full moon.
Yeah, on the 32nd of December.
And only if you stick this candle up your ass and light it on fire, only then. And also, you need to swear to never be angry at Logan Paul. That's also what you need to do. We're writing that into our contracts now. Man, if I was a smaller creator who was getting fucked up by the Logan Pauls and the PewDiePies and the other creators who do stupid things, I would never let them forget in their comment section. I would let them know over and over again whenever they put up something new that this is their fault. And you know whose fault it is.
Don't care. I made 60 grand this week.
Yeah, I can only speak for myself, but I'm just saying, we all know who ruined YouTube.
Yep.
I mean, it was never great, but we know who made it worse. And on that happy, cheery note, everyone, we'll bring this episode to a close. Thanks for watching, everybody.
Bye.